Why is the country life trying to take its own life? Smooth. Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another point of view review. This time I'm in the brand new Ford Kuga ST Line X Edition plug-in hybrid. I know it has got quite a long name. Anyway, let's hit the road. So I've got a rotary dial down here, select drive. You may have heard the head-up display coming up, that is an optional extra, but you do get quite a lot as standard. Right, check the old mirrors. And away we go. Now I am filming this towards the end of the day, therefore the light in the cabin probably isn't very good, so I do apologise. I've squeezed this in right at the end of my filming schedule. So yes, this is the plug-in hybrid, which makes use of a 2.5 litre petrol engine as well as an electric motor, which is backed up by a 14.4 kilowatt hour battery. The two combined, well, the engine and the electric motor combined, produce 225 horsepower, meaning you'll hit 62 miles per hour in 9.2 seconds, and the top speed is 125. However, there is a good chance you're more concerned about economy. That is why you are looking at this vehicle, I guess. So, oh, the road up there is closed. Well, not closed, but there's roadworks. I may turn around. Ford states that you can get up to, get this, just over 201 miles to the gallon. Of course, that is factoring in the electric motor as well. Do get a reversing camera as standard, as well as front and rear parking sensors. Right, back into drive. The Kuga plug-in hybrid emits 32 grams per kilometre, meaning for the first year of VED, you'll be required to pay £145. If you're thinking about having this as a company car, the BIK rating is 11%. This trim level would normally start from £38,005, but I do have a few optional extras. So the car I'm sat in right here, right now, is just over £41,500. You may think that is quite expensive for a Ford SUV, but if you compare it to some of its rivals that are also hybrid, then this is quite competitively priced. You do get a lot as standard. I've got LED front and rear lights, front and rear parking sensors, the reversing camera I mentioned a few moments ago, 19-inch alloys, although this car is riding on the optional 20-inch alloys, which I would avoid because the ride comfort isn't particularly good. I've also got a 12.3 digital display, which you can see in front of you, 12.3 inch, I'm not too sure if I said inch first time around, an 8-inch touchscreen with the Ford Sync 3 navigation system. So I've got DAB radio, Bluetooth, smartphone connectivity, and of course navigation. I've got dual zone climate control, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, heated outer rear seats, which is pretty impressive. I've also got a good amount of safety features as well, including autonomous emergency braking, lane keep assist with lane departure warning. This car, again, as an option, has got a few extra goodies. I've got blind spot monitoring, I've got driver impairment warning, park assist. What else have I got? Oh yes, I've also got adaptive cruise control. Now, I touched upon it a few moments ago. The ride in the ST Line X isn't the greatest. Part of the specification is sport suspension, therefore you're always likely to get a firmer setup when it comes to the ride. Now, to be fair, when you're on roads at a faster speed, particularly a good surface, the ride comfort is just fine. But when you're driving about town or at lower speeds, the ride is quite firm and it is quite jiggly. It is quite a busy ride. It isn't uncomfortable, but it is a distraction. These 20-inch alloys do also make a bit of road noise as well. So if you're looking for the most refined Kuga, you may be better off looking at either the titanium or the range-topping Vignale. As much as the sports suspension does make the ride firmer, the flip side is you do get better handling. So although this is a high-riding mid-sized SUV, the Kuga ST Line X is actually pretty good in the corners. It is an entertaining car. The Kuga is built on the same platform as the Focus, and anyone who knows the Focus will know that it is a rewarding car to drive, and that has been translated into the Kuga very well. So we'll find a few twisty bits in a few moments. The engine and the electric motor are responsive. However, because this has got a CVT, you will get a bit of droning from the engine. Now, speaking of the electric motor, you can drive this car in EV only. You can drive it up to 35 miles in electric power alone, and you can also drive it up to speeds of 85 miles per hour, which, to be honest, in the UK is a little bit pointless. Pronounce your words properly, Aaron. Yes, a little bit pointless, because the maximum speed, as you know, in the UK is 70 miles per hour. In regard to charging times, if you happen to use a 7 kilowatt charger, you can get the 14.4 kilowatt hour battery charged in 3 to 3.5 hours. However, if you use a traditional 3-pin socket, that time increases to 6 to 6.5 hours. For those of you wondering or interested, I did film a separate video testing the real-life, real-world electric range, so be sure to check that out. That may have already been posted, depending on my editing schedule. If it hasn't, be sure to look out for it. The Kuga is a very easy car to drive, particularly when you have it in the EV only mode. It is quite a relaxing car. But if you want a bit more excitement, then you can navigate the drive modes, of which I have 5. At this moment in time, I'm in normal, but down here I've got the button. So I can have Eco, Sport, Slippery, or Snow/Sand Assist. I'm going to go for Sport mode, just to hit a few twisties. And as you would expect, the throttle becomes sharper and the steering becomes heavier. Nothing happens with the ride, because this car doesn't have adaptive dampers. So whether you have it in normal, eco, sport, or whatever, the ride comfort does not change. Move, pheasant, move, move, silly bird. Actually, let's carry on going straight. Oh, sorry, bit bumpy. The steering has got a good weight to it. It may take a bit of time to get used to, because the steering is more direct than you may be expecting for a car like this. The steering rack is actually quite fast. Also, the steering can be a bit keen to self-center. So again, that does take a bit of time to get used to. There is a bit of body roll in the corners, but it is controlled well. And yes, the Kuga is a rewarding car to drive through the bends. It really is. There's a decent amount of grip. The brakes do feel a bit numb. The The brake pedal has got a nice firmness to it, but there's not much feedback through it, so the brakes do feel a bit numb. Sometimes when you're going through stop-start traffic, they can feel a bit grabby as well. I'll tell you what, that heated seat is working wonders. My bum is toasty. I like it. Oh, here comes the rain. Despite this being a family SUV, it is pretty rewarding to drive. Now, speaking of this being a family SUV, if you want to know more about practicality, boot space, that kind of thing, then I would like to refer you to my full review. This is the point of view review, therefore this is all about, well, the point of view. Let's see if I can swing it around here, test the turning circle. I'm good, and away we go. Not bad at all. As well as being an easy car to drive, the Kuga is an easy car to live with. I've got a hands-free power tailgate, so loading the boot is easy. There's a good amount of practicality. The interior ergonomics is pretty bang on. Yes, there are quite a few buttons for which some of you may not like, but I don't mind it. Yes, modern cars are getting rid of buttons, and you may think there's quite a lot in here, but they're functional. And I would say the level of buttons in here, the number of buttons, is about right. Okay, the steering wheel is a bit busy, but I can look past that. And look, I've got proper buttons for the climate control. Oh, what a time to be alive. The Ford Sync system works very well. I've got no complaints with that. Not the most snazziest system to look at, but it works well enough and it is tried and tested. There's one of the Kuga's rivals in front of me, the Volkswagen Tiguan, which for a like-for-like specification, so if you were to look at the R-Line, for example, they are a similar kind of cost. You would need to add a few options to match the specification of the ST Line X in its standard specification. So that means the Kuga works out to be better value. Another thing, you get a standard on the Kuga ST Line X, well, to give it its proper name, the Ford Kuga ST Line X Edition. Not really too sure the need for the edition part of the trim level name, but hey ho, is a panoramic roof, which is very nice. I will give you a better look. And I'm really glad this car's got a pano roof, because you've got plenty of dark materials as well as black roof lining. So without it, it would feel rather dingy in here. For example, let me actually close the blind and you'll see what I mean. Oh, there's a buzzard over there. So all of a sudden, you've got a cabin which feels a little bit claustrophobic. So yes, I'm going to reopen that. Yeah, when it wants to, this car can get a move on. Now hopefully you can see on the right hand side I have a little indicator that tells me how the power is being used. So if I were to put this into, actually one thing I haven't mentioned yet, naughty me, is down here I've got a button marked EV, And I've got four ways in which I can use the powertrain. I've got, I need to put it into a different mode. Let's put it back into comfort, not comfort, normal. Now if I hit this button, it will come up. So I've got 4 options. I've got auto EV, auto now, which I haven't got access to because the battery has got to no juice in it, EV later, or EV charge. Auto EV is when the car basically does it for you. It will change between engine and electric motor or both as it sees fit, and it is a very seamless change. EV now is when you want to drive the car in EV only. EV later is when you want to use the EV power, but not right now. You want to use it at a later time, hence EV later. And then you've got the EV charge, whereby the car uses the 2.5 litre engine to charge the battery. Oh, another silly pheasant. Get out of the way. So if I were to put it, well, it is in auto EV. Hopefully you can see when it's changing between the two. I don't think it's going to run on EV only because I haven't got enough electricity in the battery, enough charge. But as you can see, hopefully it gives you an indicator of how much power you're using and how you are using it. Let's put it back into sport mode for the time being. There we go. And give it the beans. Oh, squirrel. Ah! Why is the country life trying to take its own life? This car is front wheel drive, but you can have 4-wheel drive if you go for the right trim level and the right engine choice. Right, probably time for me to start wrapping up. So overall, what do I think of the Ford Kuga ST Line X Edition plug-in hybrid? Well, for starters, the name is too long, so I'll just call it the Ford Kuga plug-in hybrid just to make life easier. I do think this is a very good car. It's practical, offers a good level of kit. It's got quite a few safety features as well. It's easy to drive, fun to drive as well. The only thing I would say is avoid the 20-inch alloys because they do ruin the ride a bit and they also make a fair amount of road noise. So yes, I think that's probably best to avoid those. I think if you're looking for a family SUV that is rewarding to drive, practical, safe, offers a good amount of kit, but is also sustainable and future-proof, as well as being cheaper to run for that matter, then this is definitely a car worthy of looking at. If you only do short journeys per day and you can charge this overnight, then there's no reason why you can't use this on EV only all the time and then save the engine for longer trips. Very good stuff indeed. And there we go, I'd say time to finish. So then, I do hope you have enjoyed this video. I found it useful. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.